purpose of today's Tech Day is to replace the rear wheel axle bearings and axle seals and to switch out a differential on a 1971 Toyota Land Cruiser. So the first step is to jack up the truck, remove the tire and wheel combination, drain the rear differential, remove the rear differential cover, then go ahead and remove the cross pin, pound the center pin out so that you can drop out the center block. And once you remove the C-clips, you can remove, there you go, the side gears. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the third member, or rear differential. This is the ring gear, and then the pinion gear, the head of the pinion gear is there. So, the first step to remove the rear differential after you've removed the rear cover and drained it, if you want to remove the axle shafts, this little pesky bolt here is the first thing that you must remove. So you would spin the differential to get access to this on the carrier. This is the carrier. Unfortunately, many times when you go to back out this pin, it shears off, leaving most of it, this part, in the differential and a couple threads, and all you get is the bolt head with a couple threads. In which case, you need to try and use easy outs or drill it out to reverse it out. Otherwise, you have to pound this cross shaft out of the carrier, and it's not easy. Normally inside the carrier you'd have the block that would hold the C-clips to the axle shafts. In this differential we've already removed this center block. You can see the wear from the axle shafts on the block. Depending on how much wear is on here, this is acceptable wear. You would actually want to replace the block if it had worn down into it, which would be very uncommon. So in this shot you can see the side gears on either side. These are the spider gears that are held in on the cross shaft. And if Sebastian spins the entire carrier, this is the carrier. Spin it the other way, Sebastian. Here you can see where the pin is inserted that holds in the cross pin. So imagine this is holding this guy in. This is what you drive out with your brass drift. And once you drive that out, this block comes out, you're able to remove the C-clips, and if he stops right there, once you remove the C-clips that ride on next to the side gears, the axle shafts can be removed. Then with this cross shaft out, the spider gears and the side gears can all be removed. Then you can remove the entire differential or third member from the truck itself. So these are spider gears right here, and normally there should be a little washer that rides on the back of it. Is there one on this one? No. These are C-clips. These go on the end of the axle shaft to hold the axle shafts in. These aren't very worn. Sometimes these get a ridge in them from wear from the axle shaft.
I think driving it doesn't hurt my foot.
That's the center block. And that's where the axle shaft rides. You can see. The C-clip's on the very end of the axle shaft. When we remove the axle shafts, you'll be able to see exactly where they ride. This is a seal puller available at any auto parts store nationwide. And you put it in and you make sure you grab the inner lip. What we're going to do is to remove this bearing, because we don't have the SST, we're going to remove all these roller bearings and this cage, and then we're going to lay a weld bead just right inside here to shrink the bearing so that we can get it out. What I'm doing now is destroying the bearing. by pulling off this inner race, or cage actually, I think that's what the official term is, that holds in the roller bearings, and I'm going to remove the roller bearings one at a time, hoping not to drop them into the axle.
Being reused or replaced?
Oh no, this is destroyed.
Oh, that's part of what's... Okay.
Yeah, we just destroyed the bearing.
Oh.
Now we're going to lay a weld bead right here.
When you're welding on a truck, it's a good idea to remove the battery from the system.
We're basically just going to lay a bead on the race in order to shrink it down. So we disconnected the battery, we're ready to go, we got a fire extinguisher on hand. You got to make sure you have a good ground connection on there.
Fire in the hole! Oh, silver slapper is full slap. You can higher up, the thing's showing what? Down here.
Well, basically we just laid the bead in there in order to get a little bit of heat in there. Shrank it down just a tiny amount that allowed us to get it out a lot easier.